So, always, 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 I recommend tracking your intake of food. How do I feel about the making honor talents account wide? I think that'll make it easier for people to like multi-class, right? I think that's one of the complaints that I hear is people don't like to have to level up honor talents on a new character. Now, I don't think that's really that bad, but I also don't multi-class that much. I don't think it's that big of a deal. It's like it's an MMO, you know. Each character is their own character, but if they want to make that sort of thing account wide to help people, you know, be more active in PvP, that's fine. Anything that increases PvP participation is a good thing in my book. Because in an MMO, participation, people playing, is the most important thing. That's just how it is. People playing at a variety of levels, right? So if it makes it easier for a casual player to engage in PvP, great. Because in order for a high-rated scene to be successful, you also are going to need a lot of people to fill out the entire bell curve, right? So sure, if that makes people more interested in playing the game, that's fine. But the only problem is if you start catering to that idea, sometimes it actually makes the game worse. Because people, you remember, a lot of the reasons why we have the gear system the way it is now, like with templates and item level being the only thing that matters, is because people were like, the biggest barrier for me getting into PvP is gear. I feel like I never can get gear to get into PvP, so they made it so gear is much less important to get, and there's not really PvP gear in particular. And what did it do? Not shit. It actually made it worse, probably, is what a lot of people think. So you cannot sort of cater to the casual. I know that's like a buzz phrase, right? Cater to the casuals. Dan's game. To an extent, you do need to make sure that the game is accessible to a wide variety of players along that bell curve of like super ultra noob to, you know, decent, right, mid-level, and then elite, right? You need to cater to that big percentage of players right there. But you gotta do it in the right way. And I knew that taking out gear from PvP would suck. I said it, and I said, they're gonna do it. There's nothing I can do to stop them. Let's roll with it and try. But I knew it was gonna suck. But I don't like hate the system as it is. But I mean by I knew it was gonna suck because people weren't gonna like it. It wasn't gonna solve the problem of players who are afraid of PvP. They're not gonna do PvP all of a sudden, right? They don't do PvP because they don't have that PvP killer instinct. And that's fine. That's fine. So what you need to do is encourage those players, find some way to get those players involved in PvP. But I think that the experiment that we did this time was that, is gear the issue? No. Accessing gear is not the problem. You need some other incentive. Or actually, like, I think one of the issues was they took away the barrier of gear, but they provided no incentive either. Now that I think about it, right? It wasn't just that, like, gear isn't an issue. It's that you also don't get anything from PvP. Like, hey, you can use your PvE gear to do PvP, because it's all you need is item level anyway. But then they didn't give any incentive to actually do PvP at all, because the item level from PvP is so garbage. Even at the highest level, like, it's pretty bad, right? You know, 2400 player gets like a 960 piece of gear, but how many people can just run a plus 15 Mythic Plus versus how many people can play consistently at 2400 plus rating, right? It's different. Different. Thank you, games for the power up. And Hot Soup, let me hit you flex that Twitch Prime, so I appreciate the love, man. In a way, gear was with the bear, but also the incentive? Sure. So what they could have done is say, hey, you can use any gear you want. You don't have to get PvP gear in particular. It's just item level. That's all you got to get. But then they made item level from PvP like horrible. So nobody's like, oh, so I don't actually have to do PvP at all to get gear because the gear is terrible anyway. So let's not do PvP at all. That's the issue. I've always said it. The main problem with getting players to do PvP, it's not removing barriers. It's actually having to incentivize. Because players who don't want to do PvP, they're not looking for PvP. They don't want to do PvP. They don't have that killer instinct. So you have to incentivize PvP for them some way, by either giving them gear or mounts or titles or cool stuff, you know. And that's good. I'm fine with that. But you can't really. It should be incentivized in a way that doesn't detract from the rest of the, like, you know, what makes the game fun, like progression, right? Gear progression, improving your character is like what an MMO is about. Feel me? Hey, Lonely Rider, let me hit you like 3 months ago. I appreciate the love, dude. Thank you, man. Would I like resilience for PP to come back in the game? I don't even mind the item level thing. I really don't. I don't mind random drops. I don't mind the item level being the thing. I don't mind the template, really. Like, I think that's okay. I would like to have gear matter more. I would like for you to get stronger. I would like to have an item level advantage be a bigger advantage. I would like to see that. And I would also like to see PvP actually awarding meaningful item level at a high rating. Like, if 2400 and 2600 is like the highest levels of what you should get, I think 2400 should reward mythic quality gear, and I think like 2600 or wherever the highest rating is that gives you the best gear, that should be above mythic rating quality gear. That's what I think. Because I think that playing PvP at that high level, I think there's less PvPers that play at a 26, 27, 2800 rating than there are people who mythic raid. And if I'm wrong, then those numbers should be somewhat similar, right? But even then, there's the other thing where the reason why PvP gear should be higher is because it's just item level. So if you want to give it really crappy stats, that's fine. Hell, give it no stats. Have the only thing the gear does be high item level in PvP. You can give it no stats at all in the game. It can be like tournament gear, but it should reward a higher item level. But then again, I don't want to go that far because I think that PvP gear, if you do get some random piece of gear from doing arena, that's good. Okay, so for me, the thought is fine to have it be like tournament gear that's high item level. That's fine. But the reason why it shouldn't be like that for the rest of the game is because you need to incentivize people for doing PvP. So if you treat PvP like Mythic Pluses, where it's really easy to get really high item level gear, then people who even aren't interested in PvP will go do it. I do Mythic Pluses not because I like Mythic Plus, but because I want to get high item level pieces of loot. It's the same thing. If you can take somebody who doesn't really care about PvP that much to do PvP for item level gear, even if it's high item level, it's most often going to be useless. It's most often going to not have any stats that are useful, but you still can get somebody to go do PvP. That's good for the game. It is. It's good for the game. No, 2600 plus should be well above mythic quality gear. Like mythic rating, it should be above mythic quality gear. It should. Because that way you're going to incentivize people for doing PvP. And the item level isn't going to... So an item level piece of gear, it can have bad stats. It could have like, you know, every piece of gear on it could have like, you know, versatility and another stat. That's kind of what PvP gear has most of the time, right? Versatility, some other stat. And some classes that benefit a lot from versatility may like to get PvP gear, but that's fine. Like, is that a bad thing? That's fine. You use PvP to get good gear. And every once in a while, you'll play PvP. You may eventually get a piece of gear that's good for you. You're like, whoa, I actually got a good piece of rating gear for PvP. Is that bad? I think that's awesome. I just think if there's going to be carryover, I think it should be meaningful. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Well, why not, Horlock? It's an MMO. You have a powerful character, you do well, you get rewarded in-game as well. That's an MMO. That's why people play. Hey, Hot Soup, let me hit you with flags. Appreciate the love, man. Thank you very much, dude. Oh yeah. Warlock, that would be the opposite of what people have been talking about. So you're operating in a mindset that people have talked about in the past and has been ineffective. People like if you want like a tournament mode where you just go in and everybody's the exact same, like that's what sucks. There's no progression. There's no progression. That's actually what's been wrong with this time. It was Festy Day. Let me hit you with flags. Appreciate the love, man. Thank you, thank you. That's people don't like that. People don't like that. I've talked about how BGs should have a bigger variance in power between item level, and that's fine. And Arena can have a smaller variance in power between item level, that's fine, I guess. But if there's no progression, that's what people don't like. That's been a mistake. Why PvE players can progress, but PvP players aren't allowed to progress? Exactly. I don't like that. Yeah, it sucks. If there's no progression, then why bother, right? Like, some people are motivated by just the pure, you know, skill of the game. You know, the only number that matters is your rating. Like, just getting better at improving as a player. That's fine. But that mindset is not what will bring people into the PvP game. Because not everybody thinks that way. What I'm saying is you need to incentivize the game outside of this small group of people who say, just template the game, make everybody on the same playing field, make it a competitive game. That's all you need. Because that's not what will bring people to play the game. this entire, I didn't mean to have this become a rant, but this entire rant was started by the idea that in order for a game to be successful, it needs to have people playing it, right? And if you only cater to the ultra casual, it's not going to work. And if you only cater to the hyper elite, it's also not going to work. So you need to address this chunk of players. And I think this chunk of players, the way to bring more people in to the PvP side of the game is to incentivize it somehow. And what's one of the best ways of incentivizing something in an MMO is make your character stronger by doing it. So if you want to run Mythic Pluses to get a 960 piece of loot, not very hard, but you can just knock it out every week, that's fine. I also want people to be capping their characters in PvP to get a chance at getting good loot. It doesn't have to be great loot every single time, but I want people to at least be participating in Arena weekly, right? To cap out their character. When you can get like Awakening Essence and you needed that for your legendary upgrade, so many more people queued PvP that week. It was awesome. But then nobody else does it again because there's no reason to. People who do PvE, like I ran like Heroic every week, and like my character's like 970 item level. There's not a lot of PvPers who are 970 item level from PvP. Unless you're like super elite, right? So what I'm saying is, if you're super elite, you shouldn't be at a Heroic item level. You should be at like a Mythic item level. Even higher than a Mythic item level, because item level only matters in PvP. It's the only thing that matters, and your stats are probably too wonky to even be that great in PvE anyway, so it might as well be higher than PvE gear. And if you get a really good piece of gear from PvP that's good for PvE, cool, that's the game. That's how it works. That's kind of what I'm thinking, man. That's how it is. Why should higher level players have an advantage on everyone because they're coming up the ladder already? Because they're better! They have put in the work to be high on the ladder. They kick ass. They've got good gear. How is that ever a problem in an MMO? How is that? How could that be a problem? How could that be a problem? It makes it harder to advance? Sure. Sure. That's what it is. You have done the work, you've gotten the gear, you're a good skilled player, you get to beat up on noobs. Somebody's trying to break through. That's how it was that's how it was. There was always this line at 2200. It was really hard to break through 2200 because you're battling against people with their weapons and you don't have your weapons because you're not 2200. Guess what? You got to play well against people who outgear you by a little bit, and then you're rewarded by getting your 2200 weapons. And that was a big moment. That's gone. Now it's like, hey, I got 2200. Cool, I got an achievement, and now I'm going to get a 930 piece of loot next week. I'm currently 970 item level. You know? Like, what? That's stupid. Makes it harder to advance, but you get incentives and you get geared. Yeah. So what do? You grind up your gear. You get better. You know, you fill out your equipment. And you're like, okay, this next time, let's get after it. But you're going to be competing against people who are maybe less skilled but have higher gear. Like right at 2200 or whatever, that's what happened. Is you have people who are 2200, they have their weapons, but they're not that great. So if you have pretty good gear and a good team, you can beat them. And if you beat enough of those people who are looking for their weapons but don't have them yet, or people who have their weapons weren't that good, then you get your weapons too, and then you could ascend, right? But in an MMO, somebody having the skill, having the time put into it, should be rewarded with better stuff than people who don't have the skill or don't put the time in. That's just how an MMO works. That's how it should be. And I was like, I so passionately warned against this. I remember actually being in the summit for Legion and addressing this issue, and I was like, that seems like they're gonna try it this way this time. I'm like, okay, we'll see what happens. I hope for the best. It seems like it hasn't been what we're looking for. Hopefully it changes in a different way, man. Hopefully it changes in a different way. I don't think Mortal Kombat is good. I don't think it's good. Yep. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. If you if you want to play a game that you zone in, everything's exactly, you know, the same for every player, that's not an MMO. And I don't think an MMO really should be that way. It's okay. Like, I feel like Blade and Soul does that. You zone in, and as long as you're like the same level, all your stats are the same pretty much. Blade and Soul does that, but Blade and Soul is more like a fighting game, right? Like the PvP style is a very different style, and that can work for Blade and Soul. But I don't think that's what I would want out of my game like WoW, where there's like so much more to be done in this game, and it's more of like a team game rather than like a 1v1 game. But you can. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, there are games that do that. You just zone in and do the same. But when I'm playing a game, I like progression. I like to feel my character become stronger, and I like to feel rewarded by being successful. You know, that makes me feel good. I like that. That's why I like WoW. But I don't know. I think WoW is something really, really special, and I'd like to see it continue to be that way. I also would like to see us get level 110. Should I do a dungeon? Should I do some battlegrounds? You guys want to do a dungeon real quick? I want to get this guy to 110. I've just been sitting here ranting. It is what it is. Yeah, you should. You should. Remember how I talk about always like one-shotting people in BGs? You should. You should. If you're a fully geared player that's put in the time and the effort to get good gear, you deserve to one-shot noobs. You do. And those noobs should be like, damn, that dude's got some sick gear. And he one-shotted me. I can't wait till I get good enough gear so I can one-shot other noobs too. You know? That's a good thing for the game. That's a good thing. Trust me. Having some negative reinforcement is good. Having some experiencing some like, oh man, I'm not powerful enough. I gotta go get some gear. I gotta improve my character strength and my skill so I can kick ass too. That's a good thing for the game. That's a good thing for people, man. I know I'm not the only one. I know I'm not the only one, man. I don't know, dude. I don't know. Yeah. Like I said, Horlock, where you are is a mindset that was a while ago and has driven us to where we are now. I know that you've been part of the PvP community for a little while, right? But I think that you're kind of like getting your feet in there now, and you're kind of seeing it. But what you've talked about, this focus on like multi-classing, allows it to be an esport, like this kind of thing, is a very limited percentage of the people who play the game. Very limited percentage of people are having their priority be multi-classing, so they can be, you know, have every class maxed out, so they can, you know, switch around to what they need to do. A lot of people are in a situation where they might have like, you know, 1 or 2 characters, and they want to work on that one character. I would even fall into that category. I would rather just play my one warrior all the time and get as strong as possible and kick ass, like vanilla style, right? I didn't play vanilla. I'm excited about it, but that's kind of like what I used to do, right? Or have my 2 warriors or whatever, and have that be the character that I will really grind and try to make more powerful and kick ass with. But having this idea, and I'm not saying that you're wrong, I'm just saying that this idea exists, and it's actually something that has driven, I want to say policy, right? It's driven policy to make it, when you can multi-class really easily, when you can have a character up to max speed, max level real quick, like at the end of WoD, but there's no progression. Doesn't feel good. 5 warrior 5s, 5v5 is not a thing anymore, unfortunately. They took that out of the game. But that was fun, though. I remember that. How do new players supposed to get flying the new content? You just, like everybody else, you just gotta do your quests and stuff. You got this. You got this. I hate esports, but what I'm saying is that where you're going with like this multi-class idea, where everything's where you just zone in and you're just all in the same playing field, like competitive game, that's the style. I think that it's an idea. I just think that it's an idea that actually makes the game worse. This style of game actually makes this game worse. I still love WoW. You know, I'll play it and enjoy it the way it is, but I've always said that I like the experience of running in, having, you know, doing the work, putting in the time, putting in the effort, playing well, getting good gear, and one-shotting people who haven't done that. That makes me very, very happy. And I always said, what I like about this game isn't necessarily what should inform the policy, but I know I'm not the only one who likes that experience, and it seems like the more Legion has gone on, the more people are like, you know, I'm missing something, and I think that something is like a feeling of progression. And there's a couple different ways to address that, but that's one of the things. Is I think that the way gear has been handled in PvP wasn't like a colossal mistake. It was just like, we tried it. It doesn't really feel as satisfying. Let's see if we can adjust this next time around. But they're gonna do the conquest system, which is I think is like, I don't like it when the decisions are made like this, because what happens is there's like really big issues that I think are like the main problem. But then there's like a lot of like, you know, like important, like, hey, You know, you don't get as good item level from PvP. We need to increase the item level for PvP. Hey, there's not really incentive. These two things go together. There's not really incentive to do PvP. And there's like people like, I don't like the RNG loot. Let's get conquest point back. And they're like, that's the one. Conquest points. Back in the game, baby. Fixed. And it's like, but the rewards, but the incentive, like, that's the thing, not how you acquire loot. That's not really the problem, but we'll see how it goes. I'm very passionate about this. I really, really like PvP. I really love World of Warcraft. And I knew that this was going to be a problem. And I haven't really been making a big deal about it. I just kind of felt like talking about it today, I guess, apparently. Apparently, I just wanted to talk about it today. But that's something that I hope changes a little bit in the future. Should we just do a dungeon real quick? I don't know if I want to set up a BG. Let's just do a dungeon. You guys want to do a dungeon with me real fast? I want to make a Bajhuthor dungeon. We're going to crush this place so we can do a quick raid. We'll try it. We can try to do a quick raid tonight. You guys want to do that? We have time, probably, maybe. Have I streamed for an hour yet? Almost. Almost. I think the incentive to PvP should be winning. Sure. Sure. But what I'm saying is that not everybody has this competitive mindset where they find, you know, just the thrill of defeating somebody else by pure skill, you know, thrilling. Some people don't like PvP. Some people only want to do the game for PvE. Those players need to be brought into PvP somehow beyond just, I just want to, you know, the reward is winning. It's the satisfaction. That's not the case for everybody. You need to bring other people into the game. It's just how it is. It's how it is, man. That's what I'm saying. Hey, Felvis, let me hit you flex them 11 months in a row, man. Appreciate the love, dude. And Bolt, thank you for the Super Saiyan Ascension once again, man. And Twisty, Silversmith, you guys powering up probably when I was ranting. Thank you for that, guys. Well done, Prometheus. Good job, man. Good job. Right, so, like at a point, you know, getting high rating is reward in its own, right? Sure. Sure. But there are people who don't play PvP, don't care for it at all, who will play if they get gear out of it. Remember what I cited before was when you got Awakening Essence for capping your characters in 3s, all of a sudden a bunch of people started playing. Everybody upgraded legendaries, then they stopped playing. Right? But that was a moment where it brought so many people who don't really PvP for the satisfaction of winning into the game because they wanted to make their character more powerful for what they cared about. Same thing with me doing Mythic Plus dungeons. I don't enjoy Mythic Plus that much. It's not something like a content that gets me excited, but I will do it because it makes my character more powerful by getting high item level gear, which makes me slightly more powerful in PvP. But even if it's a slight improvement, I'll try to do it. Even if it's not even a slight improvement. It's a slight chance at a slight improvement. I'll still do it. So we need things like Mythic Plus dungeons are to PvP. We need things like that in PvP to bring those people who just do Mythic Plus dungeons or all day long because they love PvE or they want to min-max their stats. They wanted a chance at getting a high item level piece of gear, even if it's from PvP. Not guaranteed to get one, but if it's a chance, I think that's cool. I think that's cool. All right, let's just queue a random one. A Randy dungeon. Let's get me some XP. Probably even level me up almost. Just about. Just about. I know I'm ranting about PvP today, but just getting it out there, man. Getting the thoughts, the feels. Yeah, I'm not a big raider, so I don't really mind the Titan forging thing. I'm like, oh, cool, item level. But once again, that's another situation where, like, what I think doesn't necessarily have to inform policy. This is also what I said when they were changing the way gear works. I said, I don't like that. I think that progressing my character through getting gear is awesome. I think higher rating, rewarding higher gear is awesome. Makes me feel good one-shot noobs. But what I think and what I like doesn't have to inform policy, right? But then down the line, it seems like, turns out, it's not actually a good thing. And what I didn't like was that they were changing this almost like in response to people saying that the gear barrier was what was making people not be able to do PvP or not want to do PvP, and it's not. That's not the problem. It's not that you're like, oh, I don't have good enough gear. It's hard to get good enough gear, so I don't want to do PvP. It's like, no, you don't want to do PvP because you don't want to do PvP. You don't have that. You don't like the quality. You don't like the content. You don't have that killer instinct. That's fine. But sometimes players will do things that it's not like they're not like, you know, the best. I'm gonna die, I think. Oof. They're not the best at. It's, you know, it's not necessarily what they're passionate about, but they'll still do it, and then they may end up liking it. Like I said, Mythic Plus Dungeons aren't my favorite kind of content. It's not what I'm passionate about in the game, but running Mythic Plus Dungeons can be fun sometimes. But the main reason I'm doing it is for the reward at the end of it. So if anything that brings players into the PvP side of the game is a cool thing for me. I think that's good. I think it's a good thing. But I don't really mind the random loot thing. That doesn't really bother me that much. I just want the loot to be good. I don't mind the item level thing being what determines how strong you are in PvP. I just want it to make a difference. Item level is probably like the least important thing for PvP. I just want it to matter. And to matter more. So you can have that awesome MMO experience of taking your superpowered character and going and one-shotting some noobs who haven't done what you've done in the game. We still do that. We still find ways of doing that, like Deathwish Fury with like a stacked team and different sort of buffs and stuff. It's still fun to do that, but I don't know. Going into BG and just like smacking a player like for a minute and then not dying is really not cool. Yeah, 2400. Woo! Well, now 2400 rewards you with a 960 piece of gear, which is cool. But 960 is what you get from Mythic Plus 15, which is not the same thing as playing at 2400 rating. I assure you. I assure you. Yeah, the gear scaling was one way of dealing with that issue. That's okay, I guess. But they didn't like that as much, because you could still use PvP gear and rating. But once again, I don't really have a problem with using PvP gear and rating if it's like the way it's done now, like where they've got it like just item level. Like if you randomly get a good piece of loot from doing, you know, PvP, and it's random stats, but the stats end up being good for you, like that's not a problem, I don't think. I think that there should be carryover, and there shouldn't just only be carryover from PvE to PvP. What if there's carryover from PvP to PvE? I think that's what gets players involved. Once you have some incentive to do it, I think that's what gets them involved. So we'll see. We'll see. That'd be cool. The easiest solution right now is just to give, like, the best thing to do, I think, the easiest thing to do, is just to make the item level from PvP gear, the item level that you get from PvP, higher. Make it higher. Make the high level PvP gear better than Mythic rating gear, and scale everything else up. Because what if that means that people who just run Mythic Plus dungeons every week to get high item level gear, or just, you know, run through, you know, normals or heroic, you know, even, what if, let's say this, let's say if people who just do LFR and normal, you know, they just do LFR and they just plug normal to get some gear, get their characters like 930 item level. What if they got like really good gear? What if they got better the gear than that, doing kind of low rated PvP? They'd probably be doing some more PvP, don't you think? I think so. That'd be cool. Yeah, Venom. We've been powering up a little bit with that. Powering up with that 50 or that 500 bits for 99 cents, man. Pretty cool. I'll bring him down before he goes in there. There we go. Beautiful. Beautiful. Speaking of raid, do you guys want to run Bajheera through a raid here pretty soon? What do you think, man? What do you think? What you think, man? All right. And I hear what you're saying, or like you said this before, and we actually talked about this a little bit as well, is that you said that the vast majority of WoW players are awful. So you actually need a noob infusion. You actually need a lot of players playing at the bottom of the ladder to make everything else better from the bottom up. And I've said this to you like a couple different ways, and I'm not sure if you're getting it yet. You need those players. You need noobs. If you just want this game where just there's only elite players, that's gonna have a very, very small player base. You look at Fortnite. How many people who play Fortnite do you think are really good at Fortnite? A very small percentage. But Fortnite is wildly popular because most people who play Fortnite are noobs. That's a good thing for a game. The more noobs you have at the bottom, the more really good players you're gonna have at the top. That's how it goes. A wildly popular game is gonna be wildly popular with noobs. That's how it is. It's important. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Deku Tree. Hey, congrats on the bench PR, man. That's awesome. Same thing with League. Yep, when WoW was its most popular, people were like 1v5ing in BGs. They were fighting noobs. Those people were backpedaling around in a circle naked, clicking their abilities and stuff. They were absolute taters. Now people have been playing WoW for a lot longer. There's a lot more information around, but there's also less people playing, I'd say. Maybe, right? Probably. Maybe. There's less of a noob infusion. There's at least less people playing PvP, perhaps. Noobs are a good thing. Because some of those noobs ascend. Some of those noobs learn, practice, improve, and ascend. And become better. But if you have no reason to become better, they might not play. But if they walk into a BG and get one-shotted. Ooh, there we go. There's that 110. That's what I'm talking about, baby. If they walk into that BG and get one-shotted, and they see this guy with the super cool gear one-shot them, some of them might be like, oh, that's broken. Oh, that class is OP. Or they might be like, you know what? I'm gonna have to get me that gear, so I can one-shot people too. That's incentive, my man. That's incentive. That's how it goes. That's awesome, Venom. Congrats on the new badge, man. Hell yeah. But yeah, I think when a game is super popular, it's going to have a lot of noobs playing it, which is a good thing for the game. WoW is still by far the most popular MMO. But, you know, I think it's safe to say that WoW isn't like the game, right? WoW isn't like taking over Twitch like Fortnite, right? You're not hearing, you know, everybody talking about WoW all the time. But I think when we have vanilla come out, I think we will be hearing. I think it will take over Twitch. I think vanilla will be that game for a while, and it's gonna be very interesting to see the noob infusion and what happens. Very much looking forward to the noob infusion, actually. Very much looking forward to it. Thanks, Pebble of Ages, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Next up is making a raid team, guys. BAJUTHOR hitting 110, ranting about PvP. Let's go, dude. Is it iron? What do I need? Oh, it's holy. Yeah, it is. Never mind. Holy, fire, holy. Okay. Do I have any of those? It's iron. Do I have any of these things? It's gonna be a lot of AP, I think, right? I don't think I have any of those. Oh, thanks. I'll take it. I don't know what my stats are supposed to be, but that's fine. Let's do it, team. 220 million? Oh, dear. Am I supposed to... One second. I need to get my artifact power bar. It really is just random where this thing is. That's funny. Let's pull this down here. We can put this in 1.75. Are we feeling crazy? Uh-oh. Let's not mess up things too badly. Let's piddle with this a little bit more. Move this over here. There you go, BAJUTHOR. You're ready. You're ready to rock, buddy. You're the chosen one. Okay. So we need to do normal first. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. We need to do normal first. And then we need to do LFR after that, perhaps. I'm gonna make like a full plate raid right now. Play with subs? Yeah, we will. We're gonna do a raid with BAJUTHOR now. Full plate raid. I have honor talents. Whoopee. Alright. See why, guys? You can say for raid if you want to, sure. There we go. I want to try to make I want to get as much plate as we can, if possible. I'll let you guys queue up for the raid if you want to, okay? This is gonna be this. We just ranted about how important progression is, and then we're just gonna get carried through a raid as hard as possible. All right. I don't think I have enough. I don't think we have enough. Carry Bajjuthor. Alright. Full plate raid. Let's see if we can do it. A full plate raid? I don't know. That might be a little excessive. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Alright. Here we go. I feel like a full plate raid might be kind of tough. Let's see what we can do. We'll see what we can do. A full plate raid might be kind of tough to actually pull off, but we're gonna try to get as much plate in here as we can. I think we could get this mage in here, but I don't know if I don't know if he really wants to be involved in Operation Carry Bajjuthor. We'll see. Am I just gearing up? He just hit level 100, or sorry, 110. Just hit it. But yeah, don't take any of what I'm saying as like, you know, I feel like they've made a colossal mistake with WoW or anything. I would like to see things improve, you know? I would like to see. I'm trying to get as many people in Flexi. Come on. I'm trying to get this as a carry squad here. Jeez, where's your warrior? Do you have an ally warrior? Or sorry, NA warrior? I forget. I need as much plate as possible. We need to be fed that plate gear right now. I'm gonna see how far we can get with this, and then we can probably invite non-plate. Came from listing. It's called Bajheera Carry Bajjuthor and Taurus the Burning Throne normal on NA Alliance. You would do that to Tyke Horde? Why? Why would you do that? Making me sad. Making me sad. This is on N. Well, yeah, it's Bajjuthor. It's on NA, yeah. What if I Pally? Which Pally? There is no Pally. Oh, there's a Pally. This guy? We could. Get some more Ret Paladinos in here. Gotta make sure people know what they're doing. You should make a raid and smash out the Argus quests and rares. Not gonna bother to lock all the quests? No. Not really. Not ATM. Not ATM. Well, I think one of the issues, Horlock, is that they try to make the game better, but I feel like they're addressing, like, problems and maybe in, like, the wrong way. Like I said, like, they probably asked players. They probably asked a lot of players, hey, what is the one thing that maybe keeps you from doing PvP? And they're like, yeah, it's probably the gear. It's the gear. And they try to fix that problem, and it's like, it's not the gear, though. It's not. It's not. You know? That's kind of the thing. I don't know. I don't know. It's good intentions, I think. I think it's good intentions. Nice adventure. Good. Good. Guys, 9:15. Oh dear. Yeah, I think I don't think the all plate raid is likely to occur, but we'll start getting some guys in who are not all plate. Plate or 960. That'll be our options. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. All right. Let's see. Who else can we get in here? Because we can definitely kill most of these, right? Right? So once again, the issue is incentivizing, right? That's what I'm thinking. I would like to see the incentive be put in place where players who aren't usually into PvP would be excited about being involved, rather than asking them what's keeping you away from it. It's like, what would get you involved in it, right? That's a different question. Because I can't imagine, like, I can understand them asking the question, hey, what's keeping you from doing PvP? It's the gear? Okay, we'll minimize the gear barrier. But I can't imagine, like, what change that we saw would be a change that is a result of the answer to the question, what would make you want to do PvP? There's nothing in response. There's no change that we've seen that I would say is a response to that question. You know? And I think that's the question that's the most important one. So I'm wondering, like, some of these, like, PvP, PvE things that they're doing in BFA, I'm wondering if that's, like, them trying to have, like, a bridge of, like, a bridge content, right? Like, it's PvP, and it gives you rewards, but it's also PvE, so that, you know, you're not completely out of your element if you're, like, a pure PvE player. You know? I wonder if that's part of it. Wonder. Why not incentivize with unique armor weapon skins and mounts? Because those skins and mounts don't actually increase your player power. Doesn't make your character stronger. I think you need to make your character stronger. Oh, here we go. Juicy and thick. Welcome. Welcome. You need to increase character power. You're still operating in the narrow mindset that I'm encouraging you to sort of branch out from. You know? I'm saying we need to bring other players into PvP, not just, you know, because having cool skins, having cool weapons, or having cool, like, transmog, I think is awesome. And a lot of players have, you know, come into PvP to get, like, 2K and stuff, which is really cool. Like, I like that. But I think it's really important to actually increase your player power. Because, yeah, like, the prestige of a gladiator mount is awesome. Right? Like, that's really cool. But some people will see that and be like, well, there's no way I'm getting glad, right? Can't do that. I'm a noob. But if you can get better gear, that's cool. That's cool. But I think that the elite, having cool elite armor sets is great. It's a good thing. You whispered me. Who did you whisper? Or who are you? We still need more healers right now more than anything. I don't want to get too many people until we have more healers. Because we could just fill the Wraith Warriors, but I want to make sure that we kind of know what we're doing, right? Yeah. What's wrong with the mindset if you're sick of PvP, here's some sick gear? Like actual gear? Yeah. I think so. What is your monk's item level, Killage? I'm not bringing your fresh boosted monk in here, man. Come on now. At least bring a plate, class. Come on now. I'm already asking these fine people to carry Bajhuthor. Let alone all of my viewers. At least bring a plate character, please. At least feed me some loot here. You know what I mean? But yeah, what I'm saying is that not all players are motivated by, you know, being high rated, or, you know, just the prestige of or the thrill of victory, right? They actually need, like, in-game increase your power as a character reward. That's what some players need. And I would like to see that. I'd like to see more of that. I'd like to see more of it. Alright. Another healer. Good. Good. Good.